Okay. Hi, Pamela. So great to see you. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. Pretty
Pretty
good.
good. You're
Pretty
doing
good. I
amazing,
mean, I'm
my
doing
dear.
great. The film is exciting. I said to be happy and sad at the same time is an interesting feeling. It's
I
a
can
it's a real
imagine.
feeling to be worried about everybody in California and
Yes,
to be
yes.
promoting this film as well and being so proud of it and proud of everybody in it. I want to give it its due, but I'm also very, cognizant of what's happening in, our community.
Yeah.
Boy,
Yeah, it's trust me, my goosebumps are have not stopped. Yeah, we could talk about that for hours, but I just pray that everybody is okay. And I understand how you feel, but I have to tell you, Pamela, I've watched this movie a few times now.
oh
First
wow.
time I saw it was at TIFF, and I just was riveted by your phenomenal performance. And I thought as I was watching it, I'm thinking, she brings so much warmth and realness and vulnerability and relatability to Shelley. So I had to know what was the immediate connection for you when you first were presented the script.
Well, when I finally got the script, I read it and I just was, every time I turned a page, I was like, getting these goosebumps and and I could hear the voice, I could see so much behind the words, and I just felt so connected to it immediately. I felt this is a very, endearing character who is full of, you know, she wears her heart in her sleeve. She makes a lot of mistakes, and she's very interesting and the love and nostalgia and the art form that she is so proud of. There were so many elements. I felt like there were a lot of parallels in our characters, but I felt like that was just the jumping off point. The fact that I had lived my life the way I have, from where being a little girl all the way up until now,
Yeah.
all of that made sense because I could put it all in this film. I don't know, it kind of sounds, I don't mean to sound dramatic, but it's very healing and therapeutic and cathartic to do a film where you can put put your experience or draw from your experience. I really needed this. And I just wanted to go full strength. I didn't want to hold back anything. I wanted to make sure I transformed. And when I saw it at TIFF for the first time with everybody with me,
Yeah.
kind of like behind my hands, thinking, okay, is it going to happen? And then I looked and I went, wow, I transformed. Like I did it.
Yeah.
Like, and I maintained it. So it was really wonderful to see that. I've never experienced that before. So, doing all the work and working for months on it before I even got to Las Vegas. And we shot this movie in 18 days. So I
I know.
prepared for it
Wow.
like I would a play, and I just thought, I need to know this inside out and backwards. I need to have every scene had multiple emotional diaries connected to it. I'm a writer, so I wrote a lot and I brought all that with me. And then I thought, okay, I'm just fully loaded and just ready for Gia to push me around.
Mm,
That
yeah.
between the director and the actor is where the magic happens. So I was just felt so blessed that it was this film because I love glamour. I love, the showgirl outfits. It was such an honor to wear those museum pieces. They
Oh,
haven't left the theater in 30 years. I mean, they still had name tags in them. So I felt like all these women were with me. All these people that were with me. There was magic in the costumes too. So the combination of everything, Vegas during the day, I find so fascinating. The people that are at
100%.
rhinestones, like they're working people that are
Yeah.
putting this fantasy together for people to come and enjoy from all over the world. But they have lives, they have kids, they have issues, they got to pay the rent. And
Yeah.
I loved exploring that.
I was going to ask you about the costumes a little later, but I want to go there because you mentioned it because, you know, these women, like I say, it's an art form. There's no question. You are no stranger to running around in a bathing suit, whatever. This is something completely different, my dear. Like you're wearing these, what, 50-pound headdresses and the rhinestones. And I mean, did you have to work out like crazy just to have the strength to carry it all?
Oh no, I just thought though at my age, my existence in these costumes were just what was needed.
Yeah.
I wanted to be completely vulnerable and seasoned and show that along with these rhinestones and bedazzled costumes and, women in other generations and just being it. Like
Yeah.
it took, and not being self-conscious, being accepting and proud of how many years I put in and how much experience I had and how it looks on stage as opposed to backstage. I mean, there was a lot to think about, and those backstage scenes were wild. I mean, there's a mirror, first of all, along all one wall, small corridors, and then the choreography it took to put on and off the costumes and those quick changes and the headdresses and, like, sliding by and turning sideways and getting by everybody without crashing or getting someone's, rhinestones stuck in your fishnets. I mean, it was
Oh, God.
wild, but shooting on film, the stakes were high. We
Yeah.
really had to do it right. We had to focus. Everybody dove in head first, and yeah, those scenes. I'm very proud of those scenes because to be earrings and cuffs and gloves and headdresses and taking them on and off and all these long dialogue scenes and moving in and out and rushing in and out. It was
It's
wild.
a lot.
It was.
It's a lot.
It's a
Yeah,
lot.
well,
It was.
yeah.
Just so exciting.
Well-earned accolades on this because Pamela, honestly, it just, like I said, it really struck me. And what I loved a lot about this was the sisterhood, the behind the scenes of how she related to her showgirls, her friends, and then the scenes with Jamie Lee Curtis. My God, there is no question that you guys are all going to be lifelong friends
Oh yeah.
forever in real life. Tell me a little bit how that evolved and how you rely on these women so deeply as now your friends.
Well, Jamie Lee is a champion for women. She told me, she goes, I did this movie for you. So she's paying
Oh,
it forward. She looked at me and she saw, someone aching to express herself, but kind of caught in this trap of, you know, pop culture, public perception, that I started at a deficit. I think she's been there. And so I just appreciate her so much. And we only spent 4 days together on the set.
crazy.
And we only,
Yeah.
so that was, but we did our 4 scenes together, our 4 days together, and then I did the Dave Bautista scenes, but he was wonderful too. And then the
Mm.
girls, I had the girls over at my house and I taught them how to make vegetable soup, for instance. Like we were all had a chopping block and chopping vegetables and cooking a meal together, I thought would be bonding. And
Yeah.
we didn't waste any time or days um, bonding. Those things are really those are very readable on screen. So those were important moments. And it was,
Yeah.
like I said, it was really wild. I was terrified to meet Jamie Lee because, of her Academy Award and her experience, and just she's
Oh,
such a
yeah.
so she's a wild woman. She's a tour de force. She's so exciting to be around. She's so unpredictable in ways that just make you want to watch her. I just learned so much from her. She's
Yeah. Yeah. She's amazing, amazing person. I've interviewed her too so many times. I just love her. Fabulous. We're around the same age, and I've been following you obviously since day one. And we're so proud of you here in Canada.
thank
I've
you.
always been a champion of Pamela Anderson. I got to tell you something that, and I honestly, when I watched your documentary that your wonderful son put together, I thought I knew you, more. And did you feel at the end of the day? Playing Shelley, was it more vulnerable or going through what we saw in that documentary? Because boy, there was a lot there and it was fabulous.
Well, it's funny when the boys were like, "Mom, you have to watch the documentary," and I was like, "I was there." It's just I know what it is. I know what my life was and is, and what I've gone through and what I've, you know, overcome and things I've survived, but also and just, I just never felt sorry for myself either. I just really wanted to figure out how to make things better. And making mistakes in hindsight, I probably would have done a few things differently, but you need that life
Who
experience.
doesn't,
You need that life
yeah,
experience to tell you that. So,
yeah,
uh, but that doing Broadway, playing Roxy in Chicago on Broadway was kind of like the next thing. I didn't know. I mean, Brandon wanted to make this documentary. We started it, and then I got the call from Barry Weissler. It's time for you to play Roxy in Chicago, and that's why it followed me around. It wasn't one before the other. It wasn't Roxy before the documentary, and then I also found out that this, the Hulu series was, exploiting my personal life without my
yeah,
knowledge, and that was, a headbanger. Then,
yeah,
it's- and just so, and people seeing the documentary wonderful. And that's where Gia saw me, and Gia could see through the nonsense and say, wow, this woman has a lot to give. I mean, she's not done yet. You know, what
Yeah,
we need to collaborate and be friends at least. So I thought that was great that Gia saw that.
yeah,
And then this movie, I just laid it all bare because I thought this is the next step. I mean, I had to do that. I had to, this is, and also with me just peeling it back and the stop playing cartoon characters in my personal life, play characters in movies. So I've kind of just flipped the script. I'm in my garden and making pickles. I've got my sourdough starter ready to go. I just got home yesterday. So
yeah,
I'm I have my life the way I want to live it, and I get
yeah.
to do these wonderful projects, which I think was a little twisted around before, and now I've kind of figured it out. It took me this long.
Well, good. Hello, good for you. You are such a shining role model, my friend. And honestly, get ready for that Oscar nomination because
Oh
it's
my
going to
God.
happen. I'm a Critics' Choice member. I nominated you. Fingers crossed for that. And listen, Pamela, thank you so much for your time today. Honestly, I just feel like I want to come to your kitchen and cook with you and be on your show. That's my
Oh,
goal. Okay.
well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And I just appreciate all the love and support. And I'm so glad people are getting back in the theaters. It's so romantic to
Yes,
go to a theater. And shooting something on film, it's always best seen in a theater, the way it's just,
agreed.
yeah.
You deserve everything you're getting. I
Thank
just
you.
love you so much. Thank you so much for your
Thank you
time
so
and
much.
best
I
of
hope
luck.
I get
Fingers
to talk
crossed
to
for
you
you.
again.
Okay, take care. Take care, Pamela. Good to see
Bye.
you. Bye bye.